Okay, so this is another fight from the World Combat Championships that happened back on October 17th of 1995. And this was one of the opening fights in the striking division. And one of the things about the World Combat Championship that was interesting is they had a grappling division that had, Renzo Gracie was in it for jiu-jitsu. There was a wrestling fellow. There was a guy from shoot fighting. There was, anyway, and here in the striking division, they had various strikers. James Waring from boxing and Jerome Turcan from Savate. And here, let's watch this together. So James Waring, he's larger, 20 or 30 pounds bigger, and also he's from boxing, which is just a way bigger, there's more boxers than there are people doing Savate. So if you're like a boxing champion, you are a champion of millions of people boxing, and then Savate, if you're a Savate champion, I don't want to say thousands, but there's fewer people doing Savate than doing boxing. You see what I mean? So I don't want to say that a Savate championship is, carries less weight, but it carries less weight. You know what I mean? Anyway, James Waring versus Jerome Turcan. You can see their hands are taped up. One of the things about the World Combat Championship that was interesting is they didn't have any limit on the amount of tape you could put on your hands. So they absolutely wrap the hands up like they're, sledgehammers. And their feet too. And even though they called this the striking division, all that means is you're not allowed to do submission holds. You can do takedowns, you can do ground and pound, you just can't do chokes, arm locks, submissions, right? So, and the fact their hands are taped up basically means you have to beat the hell out of each other, And there's another fight I've already uploaded to my YouTube channel. It's between Eric Paulson, who was doing Kung Fu, even though he was a grappler, and a Muay Thai guy. And this is boxing versus Savate. And we all know what boxing is, You probably know the history of boxing more so than I do. The Duke of Queensberry rules or whatever it's called. And Savate is a form of French kickboxing. I think the only other guy I know in MMA that is from Savate is Gerard Cordeau, who fought in the first UFC and kicked Taylor Tully in the head, then later fought in Pride and gouged the eye of Yuki Nakai in the Pride Fighting Championship. Anyway, Jerome Turcan, he's from Savate. It's a, it's a striking art, just like kickboxing, like Muay Thai kind of. Oh, look, he's trying to do a throw. Well done. Maybe he does some judo too. But even though this is the striking division, you can see they're grappling. And that's just something that happens in a real fight. Even if there's two strikers together, they will grapple if they're, in a no rules fight, people will just naturally do that, Yeah. I mean, you would think with Savate being, an art of 4 weapons, you can punch and you can kick, and boxing being the art of 2 weapons, that the Savate champion would have an advantage. But, I mean, James Waring, he's not just boxing. He's clearly done some kickboxing as well. He's not just in here wearing boxing shoes and stuff. I mean, I've seen some boxing matches where the boxer gets kicked once in the leg, and they've never been kicked in the leg before, and then they're just done. You know what I mean? So even though they say this is boxing versus Savate or boxing versus kickboxing, it's kind of not. You have a bigger boxer in the form of James Waring versus I don't say smaller, but he's not as big in Jerome Turcan, and you can see that Waring is in no way unfamiliar with the concept of kicks and being kicked in the leg, or just kicks in general. So in fact, he's kicking. Look, he's throwing some kicks of his own, right? So and he's a boxing champion, so we know he has some hand skills, so to speak. Look at that. See how he hit him with that? Now he's stomping on him. That's the thing. When your hand is taped up like that, I think Jerome Turcan tapped out. Cecil Peoples, the referee, getting in there. So, but you could see, like, Waring landed that punch with his hand all taped up like that, and that was it, you know? Look at that, you know? I mean, some people say that, you know, and now there's it's funny, the Savate guys do this. It looks like they're doing the Heil Hitler thing. Gerard Godot did the same thing in the first UFC, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Why the Heil Hitler thing, buddy? You know? But that's, I guess, just the way Savate guys operate, you know? That's their salute or something. Watch this. Oh, no, that's not it. Here we go. Oh, he grazed him there. That's not the one. This is the one coming up. There it is. See, look. It's like he got hit with a brick or something, you know? Crazy. And then ground and pound. So it's fascinating, like I said. And in the grappling division, you could choke each other in arm lock and whatever. In this one, not allowed. So you got to think the winner of the striking division is going to be way more pistol whipped than the winner of the grappling division. You know, it's insane. But they weren't really thinking of that. They were just like, we're going to have the best grappler fight the best striker, but not exactly the same. The best striker is going to have been put through the gauntlet, so to speak. Anyway. Yep. So like I said, this was the opening fight for the striking division, and James Waring goes on after this to fight Eric Paulson, and then he gets a handful of his hair and beats the living hell out of him. And then he goes all the way to the finals to fight Renzo Gracie, that fought a judo guy and then a wrestler to get to the finals. And, you know, spoiler alert. You know, there you go. Yep.